in the last session. So relational operators actually, right? So this will give the Boolean value as a result, either true or false. And nesting of relational operators not possible in Java. You will get bad operand types error. Okay. And you know logical OR returns false when both are false. Otherwise it returns true. Got it? Fine. So now coming to the increment and decrement operators, we have plus plus is known as increment operator and minus minus is known as decrement operator. So this increment adds 1 to the previous value of variable. Decrement operator subtracts 1 from the previous value of variable. Okay. So when you write like this, A5 you have assigned. Okay. Into the A variable you assign 5. And after that you are doing like this plus plus A and A plus plus. So in this case, what happened is, so you are writing like this plus plus A and A plus plus. Got it? So if you write like this, there is nothing difference between a postfix and prefix. Actually, we have two increment and two decrement operators. One is prefix increment operator and a postfix increment operator. A prefix decrement operator and a postfix decrement operator. Here we have to, so this is prefix increment operator and this is postfix increment operator. If you write like this plus plus A or A plus plus, there is nothing difference, both will give the same result. There is nothing difference, both will give what? Same result. Got it? Fine. So here increment and decrement operators, on these we have done some example programs also in the yesterday session. That means these operators are applicable only for variables, not for constants. If you use it on constant, right, you will get unexpected type error. Unexpected type error. Okay. So required variable but found value, like that error you will get it. And nesting of increment and decrement operators also not possible. Nesting also not possible. You know, plus plus of in parentheses you write, if you write A plus plus or plus plus A, you will get the same error, unexpected type error only. And these increment and decrement operators are applicable for all data types except what? Boolean data type. So on integers, on strings, sorry, not on strings, on integers, on floats, and on characters also you can use this increment and decrement operators, but this is not applicable on Boolean data type. Okay, so bad operand type error. Okay, next, we cannot use this increment and decrement operators on final variables generally. So final variable means what? So see, if you take a local variable, compulsory you have to initialize the local variable, then you have to use it. Otherwise, you will get variable might not have been initialized error. So, but so whenever you declare a variable with final keyword, then it becomes a final variable. So the value of that final variable is fixed, cannot be changed. Once you store a value to the final variable, that value is fixed, you cannot change it. So you cannot use this increment and decrement operators on final variables. Why? Because it is final, you cannot change the value. If you use increment or decrement, you are changing the value, right? That's not possible. So these are the points related to the increment and decrement operators we have seen already in the yesterday session. Next one is assignment operator. Single equal is known as assignment operator. So this will assign right hand side value to the left hand side variable. So left hand side should be a variable only, but right hand side can be a constant or a variable or an expression also. Okay, three types of assignments are there: simple assignment, compound assignment, and chained assignment. And we have shorthand assignment operators. To avoid incompatible type problems, we are going to use this shorthand assignment operators. Okay, and in the yesterday session we discussed about this conditional operator also, where it is used to reduce the length of the code. Okay, if you want to reduce the length of the code, then we are going to use this conditional operator. The syntax is like this: expression 1 question mark, expression 2 colon, expression 3. First, this condition will be checked. If it is true, expression 2 will be the answer. If it is false, then expression 3 will be the answer here. Got it? So that's all about the operators we discussed. And in the today's session, right, I'm going to focus on bitwise operators. Okay, so we have bitwise operators. Bitwise and bitwise or, exclusive or. Bitwise and means ampersand, or means simple pipe symbol. XOR means exclusive or means cap symbol. Left shift, right shift, and ones complement. Okay, and this is zero fill right shift operator. It is same as a right shift operator. Got it? Now let's explain these bitwise operators. Actually, up to now, whatever the operators you have discussed, all those operators operates on bits internally. Okay, all those operators operates on, all those operators operates on values. Got it? Up to now, we have discussed about arithmetic, relational, logical, increment and decrement. All this we have discussed, right? So, but all those operators operates on what you can say values. But coming to these bitwise operators operates on bits internally. Got it? So, because whatever the data you enter into the computer, all the data will be converted into zeros and ones because it is understandable to the computer, right? So that's why bitwise operators operates on bits internally. Okay, so here let's observe, we have taken bit 1 and bit 2, bitwise and bitwise or, bitwise exclusive or. Let me explain. If both the bits are ones, bitwise and returns 1. If any of the bit is 0, bitwise and returns what? 0. Got it? Bitwise or, if any of the bit is 1, bitwise and returns 1, bitwise or returns 1. If both the bits are 0, then only bitwise or is 0. Otherwise, in any case, it is 1. Coming to the exclusive or, same bits are there, 0. Same bits, 0. Different bits, 1 0 0 1 1. Different bits, ones. Got it clear? So same bits are there, 0 you will get it, and different bits you will get 1. Okay, so now this is what bitwise and. Bitwise and means what? When both are ones, it is 1. Otherwise, in any other case, it becomes what? 0. Bitwise or means what? If any of the bit is 1, it returns 1. If both bits are 0, then only it returns a 0. Bitwise XOR or exclusive or means what? Same bits are there, 0. Different bits are there, 1. Okay, fine. Let's explain this bitwise and bitwise or, bitwise exclusive or now. Fine. Let's observe here. This I have done in this today's session. That's why I'm explaining. Here I have taken X14. Yes, X14 and Y12 I have taken. Okay. So to convert the decimal number 14 and 12 to binary format, how? With 2 you have to do the LCM, right? 2 7s are 14, remainder 0. 2 3s are 6, remainder 1. 2 1 is 2, remainder 1. From downwards you have to calculate. You have to count. You have to take from downwards, not from upwards. 11110. Yes, for 14, 11110. Okay. What about for 12? 2 6 12, remainder 0. 2 3 is 6, remainder 0. 2 1 is remainder 1. So 1100 is a binary number for decimal number 12. Okay. Now X bitwise and Y. X bitwise and Y. You know, you got the X value, X binary value and Y binary value, right? Bitwise AND operator. So what bitwise AND operator will return? If both the bits are 1, then only bitwise AND returns 1. If any of the bit is 0, it returns what? 0. Yes or no? So here both bits are 1. That's why 1. Here both bits are 1. 1. 1 0 0 0 0 0. What is 1100? 12, right? This is the answer for X bitwise and Y. When you perform X bitwise and Y, 14 bitwise and 12, this is the answer, you will get it. We'll check it out in the program, we'll check it out. Okay, let's first finish off all this. X bitwise or Y. Bitwise or means what? If any of the bit is 1, it returns 0. It returns 1. 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 0 1 only. Both the bits are zeros, then only it is 0. So 1110 means what? 14, right? This is the answer for X bitwise or Y. Now X exclusive or Y, X or Y. Same bits. 1 1 0. Same bits 0. Different bits 1 0 1. Same bits 0 0 0. If same bits are there, it returns 0. Different bits are there, it returns 1. That means 1 0. 1 0 means what? 2, right? 2 to the power of 0, 2 to the power of 1. 0 into 2 to the power of 0 is 1. Anything power 0 is 1, right? 1 into 0, 0. 1 into 2 to the power of 1 is 2. 2 into 1, 2. 2 is the answer. Got it? So this is bitwise and bitwise or bitwise exclusive OR. Now, bitwise left shift operator and bitwise right shift operator. Okay, left shift and right shift operator, and then one's complement operator. So let me explain the left shift and right shift operator here. See here. Here x is equals to 10 you have taken. So x 10 means when you convert 10 into binary format, you will get 1010. Generally, we will say that 16-bit systems, 32-bit system, 64-bit systems like that, the 64-bit processor like that, we'll say, no? That means what is the meaning of 16-bit processor, 32-bit processor, 64-bit processor? That means all the data will be stored in the form of 16-bit format or 32-bit format or 64-bit format. Got it or not? Yes. So here I am representing this number in 16-bit format. I am not taking 32-bit or 64-bit, but I am taking 16-bit format. See here, 10104 bits. Remaining 12 bits I added zeros. Backside, how many zeros you add, the value cannot be changed. Okay. So x10 means this one. Got it? Fine. Next, x left shift 2. That means what you are doing, actually what is the use of this left shift and right shift operator means, generally if you want to add some value to the variable, what you have to do, either you have to use the plus operator or increment operator for increasing the value of a variable. If you want to decrease the value of a variable, either you have to use decrement operator or subtraction operator. But without using this addition, subtraction, increment and decrement, we can increase the value of a variable, we can decrease the value of a variable by just moving the bits to left side and right side. Internally, when you move some bits to the left side, the value is incremented. When you move some bits to the right side, the value will be decremented. Got it? So like that, bitwise left shift. If you want to move the bits to the left side, you will use left shift. If you want to move some bits to the right side, you will use right shift operator. Let's take x10. You have represented 10 like this in 16-bit format. Now x left shift 2. How many bits you are moving here? 2 bits. Left side, these 2 bits you are moving outside. These 2 bits you are moving outside. When you move these 2 bits outside, these 2 bits will comes to this place. These 2 bits will comes to this place. These 2 bits will comes here, these 2 bits will comes here, and these 2 zeros will comes here. In this 1 and 0 will comes to this place, and this 1 and 0 will comes to this place, and here 2 zeros added. Left side you moved 2 bits, 2 bits you moved. So all the bits are adjusted to the left side. Finally at the end 2 zeros added. Now you calculate the value of this. 1 0 1 0 0. What is the value? It is simple. 2 power 0, 2 power 1, 2 square. But 0 into 2 power 0, 0 into 2 power 1, 0 into 2 power 2, all are zeros only. Na? 1 into 2 cube plus 0 into 2 to the power of 4 plus 1 into 2 to the power of 5. So 2 to the power of 5 into 1 is what? 32. 32 into 1, 32 plus 1 into 2 cube means what? 8. 32 plus 8, 40 is the answer. You know how to convert a binary number like this. Let's observe here. I have written, no? From right side, you have to write. From right side to left side. Right to left. 2 power 0. 0. Under this 0, 2 power 0. Excuse me. 2 power 0, you write. Excuse me. Under this 0, you write 2 power 1. Under this 0, you write 2 power 2. Under this 1, you write 2 cube. Under this 0, you write 2 power 4. Under this 1, you write 2 power 5. So 0 into 2 to the power of 0 plus 0 into 2 to the power of 1 plus 0 into 2 to the power of 2 plus 1 into 2 to the power of 3 plus 0 into 2 to the power of 4 plus 1 into 2 to the power of 5. So what? Anything power 0 is 1. 1 into 0, 0 plus 0 plus 0. And here 1 into 2 to the power of 3 is what? 8. 2 cube means 8. 1 into 8, 8. Plus 0 plus 32. So totally you got 40. That means earlier x value is 10. But when you have moved 2 bits to the left side, value is incremented to what? 40. Okay. And you will get one doubt whether our answer is correct or not. Whether our answer is correct or not. For that we have a formula. Operand into 2 to the power of n. Operand into 2 to the power of n. Operand is what here? 10. Operand is 10 here. Into 2 to the power of n. N means what? Number of bits to be shifted. N means number of bits to be shifted. Yes. 10 into 2 to the power of 2. 10 into 2 to the power of 2. 10 into 4, 40. This is the formula. Directly, no need to do all this. You can directly do it like this. You can apply that formula. Operand into 2 to the power of n. N means number of bits to be shifted. Got it? Next, here, right shift operator. Same way, you are using same x. And here, x10 you have taken. Right side, you are moving 2 bits to the from the right side. When you move 2 bits from the right side, this 1 0 will go outside. This 1 0 is adjusted to this place. These 2 zeros will come to here. These 2 zeros will come here. These 2 zeros will come here. These 2 zeros will come here. And these 2 zeros will come to this place. These 2 zeros will come to this place. And finally at the end 2 zeros added. Now what happens? It is decremented, right? 2 power 0, 2 power 1. 1 into 2 to the power of 1, 2. 2 is the answer. And whether our answer is correct or not, how can you calculate? Operand by 2 to the power of n. N is number of bits to be shifted. 2 to the power of 2 means 4. 10 by 4 means what? 2.5 you will get it. But integer by integer gives integer in Java. That's why 2 you will get it. That is the answer. That means when you move some bits to the left side by using left shift operator, value will be incremented. When you move some bits to the right side by using bitwise right shift operator, the value will be decremented. Got it? Now, next one is ones complement. Okay. So, what is ones complement operator? Here I have taken 23 that I have converted to binary format. So, I got this one 10311. Okay, 10311. So, you can write like this 10311. Okay. You can write like this 10311, and you need to calculate the ones complement. Ones complement means what? Negation. Ones complement means negation. Ones becomes zeros, zeros becomes ones. So how can you calculate? See, all these zeros became what? Ones. This one became 0, 0 became 1, and 3 ones became zeros. Now always remember, here 16 bits are there, right? Only 15 bits will forms the number. The last bit will be treated as a sign bit. If it is 0, it indicates that the number is a positive number. If it is 1, it indicates that the number is a negative number. So the output what you got it is negative number. Got it? Generally everyone will perform negation on these 5 bits only. You should not do like that. For 16 bits you have to perform the negation, not only for 5 bits. Got it? For our understanding purpose, we will be writing like that. But internally, the 23 value will be stored in 16-bit format. 5 bits are there, 10311, but remaining bits are filled with what? Zeros, right? So on all 16 bits, you have to perform the ones complement. Okay. So this is what our answer. But the sign bit you got is what? 1. Whenever you see 1, you can understand that the answer is a negative number. But one thing, the negative numbers will not be stored directly into the computer memory. It will be stored in the form of 2's complement. Always remember that a negative number will be stored in the form of a 2's complement. Okay, that means this is what our result actually. But because you got the result as negative number is not stored into the computer memory like that. Okay, it is stored in the form of a 2's complement. So now we need to calculate the 2's complement for this particular number. Okay. So first of all, to find out the 2's complement, first you need to find out the 1's complement and then add 1 so that you will get the 2's complement. So first one is 1's complement. For this, I am going to calculate the ones complement. Ones complement means what? Zeros becomes ones, ones becomes zeros. But this one you are getting as usual because it is a sign bit. Okay. Always remember that only with 15 bits you will get the number. Number value will be formed with 15 bits, not with 16 bits. Last bit is treated as a sign bit. If it is 0, it is positive. If it is 1, it is negative. Sign bit, you put it like that only. And remaining all the things, you convert it. All these ones became zeros and 0 became 1, and here 1 became 0 and all the 3 zeros became 1. Yes, you got the ones complement and you are adding 1. Yes, sir. So you, when you add 1, right, what happens? 1 plus 1, 2. 2 means what? 1 0 only, na? If you convert 2 to binary, 1 0 only you will get it. 0 you put it, carry forwarded 1 here. Again 1 plus 1, 1 0. 0 here, 1 here. 1 plus 1, 1 0. 0 here, 1 here. 0 plus 1, 1. And this one as usual you will get it, remaining all zeros and last finally 1. That means what is the value of this? 111000? This is the value. 24. Because you have got 1. See, 2 power 0, 2 power 1, 2 square, 2 cube, 2 power 4. 2 power 4 into 1, 16. 2 cube into 1, 8. 16 plus 8, 24, you got it. Because the sign bit is 1, you have put the negation here, minus here. Understood my point? Because it is a negative number, you have mentioned the minus symbol here. That means x is equals to 23 means the negation of ones complement of x is what? Minus 24. Shortcut, very simple. So add 1, negate it. That is the ones complement of a number. If I give x as 56, what is the negation value? Minus 57. Negate and add 1. Minus 57 is the answer. You should not do ones complement for only 5 bits. You have to do it for all the bits, 16 bits. This is wrong. Okay. Got it clear? This is what about bitwise and or exclusive or left shift, right shift and ones complement. Now we'll write an example program where you can perform all this. Okay. Okay. Here you take x is equals to 14, y is equals to 12 and z is equals to 10 you take. Comma n is equals to 23 you take. Why I am taking like this? Because we have done just now, right? I am calculating. I am showing you whether you get the same results or not. I am explaining here. That's it. So x bitwise and y. X bitwise and y is equals to plus x bitwise and y. X bitwise or y is equals to x exclusive or XOR y is equals to and then next left shift and right shift, right? For that you are using Z, right? Z left shift operator 2 is equals to double quotes close plus right shift 2. Then next one, ones complement. That's it. No errors at all. Executing now. See the for and 12, for R 14, for exclusive R2, for left shift 14, for right shift 2, for ones complement minus 24. You got the same output, right? Yes. So this is for the bitwise operators. Okay. So now, so Boolean operators. You know we have three Boolean operators: Boolean and, Boolean or, and Boolean not. Okay. So Boolean operators operates on what? Only Boolean variables. Boolean operators operates on Boolean variables. Okay. So actually it will take only two values. Boolean variables will take only two values, either true or false it will take, right? So Boolean AND is true when both are true, otherwise it returns false. Boolean OR is false when both are false, otherwise it returns true. You have taken two Boolean variables A, B. In the A you stored true and in the B you stored false. Yes, and here you are doing Boolean and A, Boolean and B. That means what? A is true, B is false. So it returns what? And returns true when both are true. But here one is false, one is true. That's why it returns false. A true, B false. But R you have used. That's why it returns true. Not A, opposite, right? Not true means what? False. Not false means what? True. True and true, true. False or false, false. So Boolean, just simply you replace this entire data into a program, copy the code into the program and you execute it. It will work fine. Okay. So Boolean operators operates on Boolean variables. Takes only two values, either true or false. Okay. Fine. Next one is special operators. Here we have a new operator. I have explained this already to you. This is used to allocate or create memory for the object. Yes, when you write a class, for the class, the memory, see, class will be loaded, but whenever you create an object for the class, then the memory is created for the variables and methods present inside the class. Okay, so to create an object for the class, right, you are going to use a new operator. So if you write a class like this, for this class members, the memory is not allocated. So whenever you create an object like this by using the new operator, okay, then memory is allocated for this instance variable and instance method inside the object. Okay, this is constructor. Okay, and this is the new operator which is used to allocate or create memory for the object of the class. And you know dot operator. So to refer an object, to refer a variable using object or method using object or a particular class in a package, okay, or particular method in a particular class, like that, no, you are going to use the dot operators. You know Java is a Java library, Lang is a package. How can you separate? You are using dot operator. If you want to use this, if you want to print this variable a, obj dot a, and if you want to print this method obj.m1 method, dot operator you are using. If you want to refer a particular class, util dot stands java dot java is the library, util is a package, in that scanner is the class. Java is the library, dot io is a package, dot buffer reader is a class, dot star means all methods and variables inside that class. Got it? And you know cast operator actually. So cast operator means what? You know already we have used in the arithmetic operators, right? Cast operator. When you write a data type in parentheses, it is known as a cast operator. When you write a data type in parentheses. Okay. So it is known as a cast operator, right? So converting data from one type to another type is called what? Typecasting. If you convert data from one type to another type, okay, that is called what? Typecasting. Okay, so we have two types of typecastings are there: primitive typecasting and derived typecasting. But later we will discuss about the typecasting very clearly. Here basics I am explaining. So in the primitive typecasting, we have again two types: implicit typecasting, or we can call it as auto widening conversion; explicit typecasting, or we can call it as explicit narrowing conversion. Simply saying, implicit typecasting means what? If you convert a small sized primitive type to big sized primitive type, it is called as auto widening conversion or implicit typecasting. That means if you try to store a byte value to integer variable, that is possible because byte occupies only 1 byte of memory. Integer occupies 4 bytes. 1 byte of data you can happily store it into 4 bytes of variable. Then there is no question at all. It will be done internally. Implicit typecasting is automatically done in Java. So byte to short, short to int, int to long, long to float, float to double, you can happily do it. Here I have taken one byte variable. I am storing that byte variable value to integer variable b. No need of any type conversion. Happily it will store. Why? Because a is a byte variable, occupies 1 byte of memory. B is an integer variable, occupies 4 bytes of memory. Got it clear? So 1 byte of data happily stored into 4 bytes of memory. Yes, that's why implicit typecasting will be done internally, automatically done in Java. Coming to the explicit typecasting or explicit narrowing conversion, big sized primitive type of data you are converting into small sized type, that is known as explicit narrowing conversion. Here you have taken integer variable a. A is an integer variable where you are storing 100. That a, if you try to store it into b, you will get error because b is a byte type of variable. If you remove this one, if you try to store a variable value to byte b variable, then you will get what? Error, because here this is an integer variable, occupies 4 bytes of memory. You can't store it into 1 byte of data. Got it? 1 byte of memory you cannot store the 4 bytes of data. That's why you got the error. That's why what I am doing, I am using the cached operator like this. Now you are explicitly, actually a is of int type, that you are explicitly converting it into byte type and storing into byte variable. Then you won't get any error. Got it clear? Understood? So now derived typecasting. Here again this is divided into two types: auto upcasting and explicit downcasting. This will see it in the inheritance concept, not here. Auto upcasting and explicit downcasting. Got it? Understood? This is what the cast operator. And coming to the last one, instance of operator. So generally instance of operator is used to check, okay, whether the object belongs to the given class or not. Okay, so object belongs to the given class or not, it will check. It will returns true if the class belongs to that, if an object belongs to that class, otherwise it returns false. Got it? So the syntax of this instance of operator is what? So syntax of this operator is what? Instance of operator, object name, instance of means object of, class name. So you have written one class employee, you have written one class student. For this employee class, you created two objects: employee E1 is equals to new employee, E2 is equals to new employee. For the student class also, you have created two objects, S1 and S2. Okay. So now you are checking E1 instance of employee. Is E1 instance of means what? Object of. Is E1 object of employee class? Yes. That's why it returns true. Is S1 instance of employee class? No, S1 is an instance of student class, not employee class. That's why it returns false. Is S2 instance of student class? Yes, that's why it returns true. Got it clear?
సో బిందు,
దిస్ ఈస్ చెప్పండి.
ఇవి జనరల్ గా మనము అంటే ఎక్కడ యూస్ చేస్తాం?
ఎప్పుడైనా సరే మనం ఒక ఆబ్జెక్ట్ ని మనకు లాంగ్ ప్యాకేజ్ లో క్లాస్ అని ఒక క్లాస్ ఉందన్నమాట. క్లాస్ అనే ఒక క్లాస్, ఇప్పుడు సిస్టమ్ అనేది ఒక క్లాస్, స్ట్రింగ్ అనేది ఒక క్లాస్, ఎంప్లాయీ అనేది ఒక క్లాస్ కదా, అలాగా క్లాస్ అనేది ఒక క్లాస్ ఉంది. సో ఎప్పుడైనా మనం ఆ క్లాస్ లో ఏంటంటే మనం ఆబ్జెక్ట్స్ ని యూజ్ చేస్తాం అనమాట. ఆబ్జెక్ట్స్ ని అప్పుడు వెదర్ దట్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్ బిలాంగ్స్ టు దట్ క్లాస్ ఆర్ నాట్ అనేది మనం చెక్ చేసుకుంటాం జనరల్ గా. సో డైనమిక్ గా మనం క్లాస్ ని లోడ్ చేసేటప్పుడు వెదర్ దట్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్ బిలాంగ్స్ టు దట్ క్లాస్ ఆర్ నాట్ అని చెప్పి మనం చెక్ చేసుకుంటాం అనమాట. అటువంటి కేసెస్ లో ఈ ఇన్స్టెన్స్ ఆఫ్ ఆపరేటర్ ని యూజ్ చేస్తాం.
సో మనం ఏమన్నా కండిషన్స్ లో కావాలన్నా ఇఫ్ కండిషన్స్ వాట్ ఎవర్ ఇట్లా యూజ్ చేసుకోవచ్చు, బూలియన్ వాల్యూ
యూజ్ చేసుకోవచ్చు. యా
ఓకే.
So what is new operator? It is used to allocate the memory, and dot operator, to refer a method or variable or class or something, we'll use it. And typecasting, which is used for converting data from one type to another type. Okay, or else we can call this as a type comparison operator. This is also known as type comparison operator, which one instance of operator. Okay, it is also known as type comparison operator. Check whether an instance or object belongs to the given class or not. Understood? Got it? Any doubts here?
Conversion primitive, and what is the other one under?
Which one?
Primitive data conversion, primitive, and what is the second one? And small to big to small, right?
Oh, conversions, right? Implicit typecasting and explicit typecasting. Actually, in the primitive typecasting, we have two types: implicit typecasting and explicit typecasting. In the derived typecasting, we have two more types: auto upcasting and explicit downcasting. So this auto upcasting mechanism and explicit downcasting mechanism, we'll see it in inheritance concept.
Okay, this is short to long, like that, into to long. The derived one.
Yeah, that is implicit typecasting. That is implicit typecasting. That means here we are trying to store a small type of data to bigger data type. That is done automatically by Java.
Okay, short to int or into long.
Automatically. ఇప్పుడు say example మన దగ్గర బైట్ డేటా ఉంది, దాని ఇంటీజర్ లోకి మనం హ్యాపీగా స్టోర్ చేసుకోవచ్చు. సో నథింగ్ టు కన్వర్ట్, రైట్? ఎందుకంటే స్మాలర్ డేటా హ్యాపీలీ ఫిట్ ఇన్ టు బిగ్గర్ డేటా టైప్. ఎస్. So that's why this implicit typecasting is done by Java automatically. But explicit downcasting ante enti, where you are converting the big size data to small size. In that case, you will get the error. By that time, you are going to use the cast operator.
Okay.
Okay.
What about this one, derived typecasting? We will discuss later, or?
Okay. Yeah, we'll discuss it later in the inheritance concept. Okay. Inheritance lo manam use chestam auto upcasting and explicit downcasting. Yes. So this is what about the operators, and we have seen already all these programs, and we కూడా నిన్న చూసాము yesterday class లో. So here what is the output? You will get it I0, because it is a postfix increment operator. I0 is printed internally, it is incremented by 1, but here prefix, right? First incremented value will be printed. That means 1 is the output for this program. For 29th program, what is the output? 0, but prefix decrement, right? That's why 0 will be decremented by 1, means what? -1 you will get it. Answer is -1. Okay, and 30 at 12. I minus minus you have written. So first I value is printed. I value how much? 0 is printed. Internally it is decremented by -1. And here I variable you have taken, but you have not assigned any value to the I variable, but you are trying to increment it here. So that's why you will get variable I might not have been initialized. Error you will get it for 31st program. For 32nd program also same error you will get it. Variable I might not have been initialized. Yes or no? Because you did not initialize it, right? Local variable. Without initialization, you cannot use a local variable. 33rd program. So let's see here. Here K0 you have taken. K plus plus. K plus plus means what? K value 0 is printed. Internally K became 1. Now when you print K, 1 is printed. Again you are prefix increment operator. So K becomes 2. That K2 is printed here. Now when you print K, 2 is printed. So what is the output? 0, 1, 2, 2. 0, 1, 2, 2. That is the output. Yes or no? Isn't it? Next, 34th program. So K you have taken. Okay. But here you are assigning, right? You are assigning value. So here 0 you will get it. Yes. And here K plus plus. Means what? K 0 only printed. Internally K became 1. That K value here printed 1. And here plus plus K you use. That's why 2 it will becomes. The 2 is printed. And here K value 2 is printed. So 0, 0, 1, 2, 2. That is the answer. 0, 0, and 1, and here 2, and here 2.
Can you repeat this program once again?
Simple, sir. K 0, na? So here when you print K, what is printed? 0 printed. Okay. And here K plus plus, right? Postfix, na? First K value 0 printed. Internally K became 1. That 1, when you print K here, that 1 is printed here. That means here 0. Second statement 0. Third statement 1. Here prefix increment you have used. That's why K became 2 first. That incremented value is printed here. 2 printed. And here K 2 printed. So 0, 0, 1, 2, 2. That is the output.
Second line is 2, right? 1.
No.
No,
1.
0.
No, 0. 0. Postfix.
Okay. Okay.
Because this is postfix operator, first K value 0 is printed here. Internally it became 1.
Okay.
Internally it became 1. That internal value 1 is printed here when you print K here in the third line. But coming to the fourth line, you have used prefix increment. That's why what happens? First K value 1, that is incremented to 2. That incremented value is printed here because prefix increment operator you have used. That's why incremented value is printed here 2. And coming to the last K, that is also 2.
Okay. So in the first system.out println, there we are initializing the 0 there. That's the reason the second onwards it is going on incrementing, right?
No, not like that. No, not like that. Here I am
If you
just
remove that
initializing
0,
the value to assigning value. If you remove that 0, then it is an error. Without initialization, you are trying to access. Not because of assigning here. Here I used plus plus. That's why incrementation happens. So if you don't use plus plus, then 0 is printed obviously. Here itself K0 printed. Assigned. This value is assigned to K, and that K value is what now? 0. That is printed. Okay. Now 35th program. Let's observe you have taken I10. Okay. 10 means what? Here you used postfix na. First I value 10 printed. Internally I became 11. When you print I, 11 is printed. I minus minus. Postfix, right? That's why first I value 11 printed. Internally I became 10. When you print I here, 10 is printed. Here prefix increment you have used. That's why I value 10 is incremented to 11. That incremented value I is printed here. And when you print I, 11 is printed. Got it? And here again, the prefix decrement operator. So first I value 11 is decremented by 10. The decremented value 10 is printed here. Once again, if you print I, 10 printed.
Could you go a little bit slowly?
Sure.
Yeah.
Here
Can
I
you
10.
repeat this program? Yes.
Sure. Yeah. I10. Postfix operator. This I10 value is printed. Because it is postfix, I10 value, older value is printed. Internally, I became 11. When you print I here, 11 is printed.
Basically, postfix means first value will be printed and then incrementation will happen.
Yes,
Antena?
exactly. Ante.
Prefix
Old
ante
value ఇంక్రిమెంట్ అయిన వాల్యూవే ప్రింట్ అవుతుంది. పోస్ట్ ఫిక్స్ అనేటప్పటికి ఎప్పుడు కూడా ఫస్ట్ ఓల్డర్ వాల్యూ డిస్ప్లే అయిపోతుంది. ఆఫ్టర్ దట్ ఇంక్రిమెంటేషన్ ఇంటర్నల్ గా జరుగుతుంది. నెక్స్ట్ టైం మీరు ప్రింట్ చేస్తే ఆ ఇంక్రిమెంట్ అయిన వాల్యూ డిస్ప్లే అవుతుంది. బట్ ప్రీఫిక్స్ అనేటప్పటికి ఏంటంటే ఫస్ట్ ఇంక్రిమెంటేషన్ కావచ్చు డిక్రిమెంటేషన్ కావచ్చు ఫస్ట్ జరుగుతుంది. జరిగిన తర్వాత న్యూ వాల్యూ ఏదైతే ఉంటుందో ఇంక్రిమెంటెడ్ డిక్రిమెంటెడ్ వాల్యూ ఆ న్యూ వాల్యూ డిస్ప్లే అవుతుంది. ఇప్పుడు ఇక్కడ అదే జరిగింది. ఫస్ట్ ఓల్డర్ వాల్యూ ఆఫ్ ఐ 10 ప్రింట్ అయింది, ఇంటర్నల్ గా 11 అయింది. ఇప్పుడు నెక్స్ట్ టైం మీరు ఐ ప్రింట్ చేసినప్పుడు ఆ ఇంటర్నల్ గా అయిన 11 డిస్ప్లే అయింది. ఇక్కడ ఐ మైనస్ యూస్ చేస్తున్నారు. సో ఫస్ట్ ఐ వాల్యూ ఓల్డర్ వాల్యూ 11 ప్రింట్ అయిపోయింది, ఇంటర్నల్ గా డిక్రిమెంట్ అయ్యి అది 10 అయింటుంది. నెక్స్ట్ టైం మీరు ఐ ప్రింట్ చేసినప్పుడు 10 ప్రింట్ అయింది. ఇక్కడికి వచ్చేటప్పటికి ప్లస్ ఐ రాశారు, అంటే ప్రీఫిక్స్ ఇంక్రిమెంట్ యూస్ చేశారు. కాబట్టి ఐ వాల్యూ కాస్త 11 అయ్యి ఆ ఇంక్రిమెంటెడ్ వాల్యూ ఐ కాస్త 11 ప్రింట్ అయింది ఇక్కడ. నెక్స్ట్ టైం మీరు ఐ ప్రింట్ చేసినప్పుడు కూడా 11 ప్రింట్ అయింది. ఇక్కడ ప్రీఫిక్స్ డిక్రిమెంట్ యూస్ చేస్తున్నారు, అంటే ఫస్ట్ ఐ వాల్యూ డిక్రిమెంట్ అయిపోతుంది. ఐ 11 కదా, అది కాస్త డిక్రిమెంట్ అయింది, అంటే 10 అయింది. ఆ డిక్రిమెంట్ అయిన వాల్యూ ఏదైతే న్యూ వాల్యూ ఉందో అది ప్రింట్ అయింది ఐ వాల్యూ. నెక్స్ట్ టైం ఐ ప్రింట్ చేసినప్పుడు కూడా మీకు 10 డిస్ప్లే అవుతుంది అనమాట.
బిందు ప్లస్ అంటే వన్ టైం ఇంక్రిమెంట్ జరుగుతుంది కదా?
అంతే. ఇంక్రిమెంట్ అండ్ డిక్రిమెంట్ విల్ బి హ్యాపెన్ ఓన్లీ వన్ విల్ బి యాడెడ్, వన్ విల్ బి సబ్స్ట్రాక్టెడ్.
Can you go to that same program once again? So
yeah,
no
చెప్పండి.
ఇప్పుడు ఐ ప్లస్ ప్లస్ బదులుగా నేను ఐ ప్లస్ పెడితే ఏమైనా ఇంక్రిమెంట్ జరుగుతుందా? అవదు కదా, ఉత్త ఓన్లీ 1 ప్లస్.
ఏం పెట్టేస్తా అలా పెట్టకూడదు. ఒక ప్లస్ పెడితే అది బైనరీ ఆపరేటర్ అవుతుంది, అప్పుడు మనకు ఎర్రర్ వస్తుంది. బైనరీ ఆపరేటర్ నీడ్స్ 2 ఆపరెండ్స్.
ఓకే,
ఇప్పుడు ఇక్కడ ప్లస్ ప్లస్ అనేది యూనరీ ఆపరేటర్.
ఓకే, ఇప్పుడు అక్కడ నేను 4 టైమ్స్ నేను ప్లస్ ప్లస్ ఇస్తే అప్పుడు 11 కు బదులుగా నెక్స్ట్ లైన్ లో వచ్చేది 12 అవుతారా? ఇప్పుడు నేను ఇంకా 4 ప్లసెస్ ఇస్తే బిగినింగ్
ఇక్కడ అట్లా ఇవ్వకూడదు సార్. ఎందుకంటే నేను ఇంక్రిమెంట్ అండ్ డిక్రిమెంట్ ఆపరేటర్ చెప్పేటప్పుడు ఎస్టర్డే ఒక పాయింట్ చెప్పాను, ఈ నెస్టింగ్ ఆఫ్ ఇంక్రిమెంట్ అండ్ డిక్రిమెంట్ ఆపరేటర్స్ నాట్ అప్లికబుల్ ఇన్ జావా అని. అంటే మనం నెస్ట్ అనేది చేయకూడదు. ఒకవేళ నెస్ట్ చేస్తే ఏమవుతుందంటే ఇంటర్నల్ గా పెరాంథసిస్ లోపల ఉండేది ఫస్ట్ ఇంక్రిమెంట్ అవుతుంది కాబట్టి ఫస్ట్ జరుగుతుంది. సో మీకు వాల్యూ వస్తుంది. వాల్యూ మీద ఇంక్రిమెంట్ అండ్ డిక్రిమెంట్ ఆపరేటర్స్ ఎప్పుడు వర్క్ కావు, ఓన్లీ ఆన్ వేరియబుల్స్ ఇట్ విల్ వర్క్స్. Okay, so increment and decrement operators operates on variables, not on values. And even nesting of increment and decrement operator not applicable in Java. That gives an error message.
Okay, antukunche adigindi. Got it.
Yeah. So then 36th one, here what you are doing, you declared one variable and here you are printing done. Yes, done is printed. You are assigning value here to the I variable 10. And you are printing here. So what is printed? Done. And in the next line 10 will be printed. You have declared variable. It's not mandatory to initialize here only. I declared a variable I. Okay. Then after some statements I have assigned value to I and I am printing here. Nothing happens. Declaration happened here. Assignment happened here. Printing happened here. Nothing happens. Okay. Successfully done. Done is printed and in the next line 10 is printed. So 37th one. Here I is 11. Here I is 11. And j is plus plus I. J is plus plus I means what? Increment. I value is incremented.
So 12.
Okay. 12. 12 is put into where? J.
J.
Yes or no?
Yeah, j is equal to 12, I is equal to 11.
I is equals to 11. I is equals to j plus plus you have written.
Okay,
J plus
so
plus means what? J12 you are storing into I.
I is equal to 12.
J again internally incremented.
Hmm.
13.
J will be 13.
I minus minus. I value 12 is printed. Internally it became 11.